Joining me now, Congressman Jim Jordan. He was at today's Oversight Committee hearing. He also serves on the Judiciary Committee. He is chairman of the Freedom Caucus. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Good to be with you, Lou.
Were you satisfied? Were you any of your questions truly answered today by the State Department?
No, but we didn't really expect them to be able to answer and satisfy the inquiries we had. Look, they not only are slow walking and taking their time and not getting information that the public and the Congress deserve to have, they don't even have all the information to comply with the FOIAs because Secretary Clinton, her and her legal team, destroyed information. And that's what we have to remember. Of the universe of emails that was out there, Hillary Clinton and her legal team got to decide on the front end which ones they kept, which ones we got. And the ones that they did destroy, they said weren't work-related, but the FBI said, no, there were about 17,448 that actually were work-related that we got from some other sources that you had emailed to. So, of course, the State Department's not compliant. They can't comply. They don't even have all the information. And what they do have, they take their old sweet time, good sweet time, before they get it to us.
You know, Congressman, I think that there is a certain fatigue setting in with the American public on this issue. The scandal has been raging over years now. And we know, we're learning little by little, and by the way, I think like nearly everyone who is not fatigued by it, I salute you, I salute other members of Congress who are proceeding and pushing for every scrap of information you can get from the State Department. But at the end of the day, this is going to be decided by election that's now 2 months away, is it not?
Right. It's going to be decided by the voters. But here's two new pieces of information. First, remember, the FBI only looked at the classification issue. They did not investigate whether there was evidence destroyed and destruction of documents took place. We now know that the chronology of 1 month, March of 2015, we now know that chronology looks like documents were destroyed that were under subpoena and under preservation order. March 2nd, 2015, New York Times reports this special email arrangement Hillary Clinton has. March 3rd, a preservation order is sent from the Benghazi Committee. March 4th, a subpoena is sent. March 9th, Platte River Networks, the server providers, are on notice of those things. March 10th, her press conference, the important date, March 25th. David Kendall, Cheryl Mills have a conference call with Platte River Network, and they, shortly after that, sometime in the next 5 days, BleachBit, something we've never heard of, is taken to the device and they're scrubbed, they're deleted, they're destroyed. That person who was on that conference call, name is redacted in the FBI report, and he refused to answer questions later when the FBI asked him what took place in that conference call. That's 1 month. 1 month tells the story. We now know that, and we know the FBI didn't look at that issue. They only looked at the classification issue, the classified information issue.
First question most people ask me is why did they keep it to such a narrow pursuit, and what set it off in the first place?
Right. Why not look at that when you have a guy who was with Platte River Networks, conference call with David Kendall and Cheryl Mills, and then destroys documents with BleachBit? When that happens and he won't answer questions, he claims a privilege, whether it's the Fifth Amendment privilege or whether it's attorney-client privilege, we're unsure, but some kind of privilege, and we don't know. First thing we need to know is, who's that guy? What's his name? We need to bring him in front of Congress and see if he takes the fifth in front of our committee.
Well, we know about two people. We know about a fellow by the name of Bill Clinton, and we know about his wife, because for 20 years they've been doing the same thing. They have been destroying work product that you can argue one way or the other was critically important information, but it was so critical, at least we do know, that millions of emails were destroyed from the Clinton administration forward through the Obama administration, and there can be only one reason, because they don't take up a lot of room, and they certainly would have taken up a lot of congressional time if those 30-some-odd thousand that Kendall and Mills supervised the destruction of. Yeah.
Lou, here's the thing that I think most bothers most Americans, and that is this idea that there are now two standards. There's one standard for you and me, one standard for regular Americans, a different standard for the politically connected, a different standard for Lois Lerner, John Koskinen, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, than there is for we the people. And that is not supposed to be how it works in our great country. This is a great nation where everyone should be treated equally under the law.
Yeah, there are the two other subsets of trouble in this, to me, Congressman. One is that we have now seen that Congress does not have sufficient co-equal power to deal with a recalcitrant and even mendacious executive department. We've also learned that our court system is influenced strongly, much stronger than we thought, by politics. There is now a little R or a little D attached to everyone sitting on the bench.
No.
There is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, great points. When you have a Justice Department more concerned about politics than they are about administering justice, that is a major problem in our country. And we know that's the case. We saw it in the Lerner investigation. We saw it in the Clinton investigation. Frankly, we saw it this week in the memo that James Comey sent out to his own people.
Yeah,
he realizes the pressure, and he realizes, wait a minute, I think he deep down realizes this is a problem and a concern from some of the very people who work under him.
Yeah, and people have tried to rationalize his failure to act, his failure to meet straight up the challenge that is, by the way, statutory as the director of the FBI, and instead defer and relegate to the State Department to make a decision about whether he should recommend a prosecution. It is some of the most, circuitous reasoning I've seen by anyone trained in law or certainly working in law enforcement.
The fact that Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac, the fact that Loretta Lynch admitted under oath in front of the Judiciary Committee 2 months ago that for the first time and only time in her career, she announced ahead of time, whatever James Comey recommends, I'm going to do. Now, who, when they're the top person in an agency, says, without knowing what the recommendation is going to be, says, whatever it is, whatever that recommendation is, I'm going to follow it, and yet they announce that ahead of time and don't even know what that recommendation. No, never has that happened before. So by her own actions, she demonstrated that this case was different and not treating everyone equally under the law.
Yeah, and it's also disturbing, is it not, that a former president and a sitting attorney general would waste taxpayer dollars, money, talking about their grandkids and golf. I was just appalled at that.
Yeah, wow, exactly right.
It's always good to talk with you. Thanks for being with us.
Good to be with you.
Jim Jordan.